So we start our revision, employee relations and labor law. So this is a June 2024 paper. So this paper has two sections, section A and B. So section A, we have a case study about Texas Limited, and then we have a section B, which has questions 2. So section A has one question. So question 1 has A, B, C, and D. And then the other section has a question 2 up to 6. That is section B. So now we start with section A. So this one is a case study about Texas Limited. So we see this one is a global phone manufacturer, cell phones manufacturer, with one of its subsidiaries in Nairobi. So if you go through that, or you read all these paragraphs, you'll get to know more about this company and the issues the company has been facing when it comes to its relations with employees. So from that, we have one question, or the first question here, section A, the first question. So you are asked to justify the management's decision to incorporate employees' representatives in a committee. So there's a committee there, consultative committee. If you read that one, you will get to know more about that. So there's a consultative committee. Now you have to justify the decision for the management decision to have that committee, that organization. So the management decision to incorporate employee representatives in the committee at Texas Limited can be justified as follows. So the reasons for doing that simply is because having this committee will enhance communication. It serves as a formal channel for disseminating information from management to employees. Also, employee involvement. So having this committee, it fosters a sense of participation by the employee in decision making, and which can improve employee morale. And then legitimacy of decisions. So the committee leads to, or lends legitimacy to managerial decision, simply because they involve input from employees. So also it provides a feedback for employee to highlight flaws in managerial decision. Another justification or reason is to prevent conflicts. So by addressing work-related matters, for example, issues concerning health and safety of employees, so the committee is able to resolve issues before they escalate into industrial disputes. So it also promotes open door culture. So we saw that Texas Limited has an open door policy. So the committee, the consultative committee, aligns its open door policy. So this means that it encourages employees to raise suggestions for service and performance improvement. And then also cost effectiveness. So when you compare trade unions negotiations and the committee, so it is cheaper, because this one you are involving employees directly, unlike where you have to arrange for trade union members to meet, which is a cost incurred. And then it also fosters a harmonious employee relations by creating collaborative environment between management and the employees or workers. So also identification of problems. So the issues at the workplace mostly affecting employees will be identified earlier. And also this will give room for the managers to come up with solutions. And lastly, to ensure, or it ensures that employees have a voice. So even though they don't have a trade union, but they can use the committee to address some concerns, which is informally. So proceed to question B. Explain the factors that may have motivated the employees to meet with communication workers union. So we have seen that TEXA Limited met with employees. So if you have if you read that one, you will see that. And so the factors that motivated TEXA company to meet, or the management of TEXA company to meet with sent employees, are the following factors. So the first one is unfavorable terms and conditions. So TEXA, we saw that TEXA, it offers competitive pay, but there are other factors which are less favorable compared to competitors. So the competitors' employees are a member of a trade union, and that is why their terms and conditions are better compared to TEXA Limited. So this is one of the reasons why they decided to meet with employees. So also the company, there have been complaints regarding to contravention of Occupational Safety and Health Act. Yeah, so when we talk about contravention here, you talk about not honoring the law related to occupational health and safety. So the organization has not been doing that. So there were complaints from the employees. That is why they had to meet. And then lack of effective employee voice. So despite having the consultative committee, so main call center operators, we have seen that as suspicious of its motive. And we saw that most of the time they do that one for their own selfish reason. And so there was no lack of voice. And then suspicion of employee representative. So the employees view their representative in the committee with suspicion because they are picked by managers. So those members of the committee are picked by managers. That is why they always side with the managers, so that they can get favors from the managers who pick them. So for their own reason. And that's, another reason is competitors' better conditions. So we've seen that employees of competitors' call centers who are members of a trade union by the name Communication Workers Union have favorable terms and conditions. So as a result, most of the employees at TEXA Limited were not happy with that. That is why they had to meet. And then growing consensus for union presence. So there is a growing consensus among the employees of TEXA Limited that a trade union presence is necessary so that they can protect their interests. For example, their interest on the improvement of working conditions or having conducive working environment. So these are some of the factors that led or motivated employees to meet with the workers' union. So we continue with the revision, still on section A. We are still in section A, question 1, part C. Yeah, so that is the third question under section A. So the company had not established a certain policy and procedure. Explain the issues employees will have raised if the policy and procedures were in place. So this policy and procedure is grievance policy and procedure, which was not there. So if these procedures and policies were in place, then employees would have raised the following issues. So we've seen that there are longer shifts there, takes are limited, also minimal holiday entitlement, and this issue would have also been raised. Employees would have also raised issues concerning fewer leave days compared to competitors. So we have different types of leaves, but when you compare to competitors, the organization or the company had fewer leave compared to the others. So that issue would have been raised, and then a limited training and development opportunity. So lack for training and development would also been a potential grievance. Also another one regarding occupational safety and health violations, or we have those people who have been violating that or contravening the provisions of occupational health and safety. That one will also have been a complaint. And then an issue concerning overtime pay. So the employees explicitly feel that existing committees does not address the real issue concerning overtime. And then also another issue was a lack of work participation. So they felt that the current committees does not promote work participation, which is also a grievance. Another one is a promotion, an issue concerning promotion which is unmerited. We've seen that in the last paragraph, or among the last paragraphs. So employees had a perception that most of the promotions which we have seen was not based on merit, and that one is a potential grievance. And the last one is broader concerns about terms and conditions of employment being less favorable compared to competitors. You've seen that one. So the competitors, most of their workers, call center workers, are members of a trade union. So their terms and conditions are better than those offered by Texas Limited. So we continue. Section A, question D. So the management is contemplating, so the management of Texas Limited is contemplating carrying out a certain process with due regard to procedural requirements. Explain the requirements. So the process here that is being talked about or contemplated by the management is dismissing of employees, and dismissal of employees with due regard to procedural requirements and labor laws, including the Employment Act of 2007 and the Fair Administrative Action Act of 2015. So the requirement according to the law include, so before you dismiss employees, this is what you should follow, or this is what ought to be followed for it to be a legal ground for dismissal. So the first one is a show cause letter. So here we mean that employees must be issued a written notice specifying the reasons for contemplated dismissal. So the reasons can be many. For example, engaging with the union, among others. So in our case here, tax employees engaged with the union. So that is what will be stated in the show cause letter. Also, right to hearing. To a hearing, employees must be given an opportunity to respond to allegations. So each and every employee before dismissal, they must be given an opportunity to defend themselves against the accusation. So another one is a clear communication. So the reasons for dismissal must be clearly communicated to employees. And a fair hearing process, the hearing must be impartial with an unbiased panel or manager conducting the proceedings. Right to representation, employees should be allowed to be accompanied by a colleague or trade union representative during disciplinary. So during the hearing, disciplinary hearing, employees, they should be given that opportunity, or they should be allowed to have a colleague if they are they belong to a trade union, then they have a representative present during the hearing. Evidence-based decision. So the decision to dismiss must be based on substantiated evidence, not assumptions or bias. So there must be evidence that can be substantiated before the decision to dismiss is justified. And then written notification. So if the dismissal after hearing is upheld, then the employees must receive a written termination letter outlining the reasons and the effective date of termination. That one is also that one must be complied with. And then compliance with the Employment Act. So the whole process must adhere to Section 41 of the Employment Act of 2007. So complying with this will ensure that there is fairness, and also there is a due process. And another one is a fair administrative action. So the process must be lawful, reasonable, and procedural, fair, with no victimization. So there should be no victimization. And if dismissal is the final decision, then the employees are entitled to terminal benefits, which may include notice pay, accrued leave, and other statutory dues.
So if you like this video, you can always enroll with us. You'll be able to access more of these revision sessions. And also you'll be able to find well done lectures or pre-recorded videos for all the KASNEB courses as well as CHRP. And in case of anything, you can always reach us out. We have our contact details on the screen. Feel free to call, feel free to WhatsApp anytime. So thank you, and let's meet in our next session.